Welcome friends to the 15th episode on the Educative series. In this episode we will talk about the IPO that is going to come out with by Spunweb Nonwoven Limited. This IPO is from 14th July to 16th July 2025. The minimum investment required for this IPO is 2,16,000 rupees. The RTA for this company is MUFG in time, and this company is going to be listed in the SME NSE exchange, stock exchange. Now I will go to the disclaimer. I am currently not registered with any regulator in India like SEBI, RBI, etc. You can read the disclaimer in details, which is in front of you in the screen. Now I will talk about the issue details little bit more in detail. As we mentioned, this is an IPO. The issue size is 63,51,600 shares, which includes 3,21,600 shares issued to the market maker, which contributes to about 5% of the total issue size. This is a mandatory requirement for any company that is going to be listed in the SME segment. As we saw the minimum lot and the price we saw in the earlier screen. The price band is from 90 rupees 90 to 96 rupees, and face value is rupees 10. There is no employee reservation applicable for this IPO. Now we'll look at a brief of the company. The company was founded in 2015. The company has one subsidiary which was created in just a couple of years back under the name of SIPL, that is Spunweb India Private Limited. In the course of this episode, we will be speaking about this subsidiary as SIPL rather than using the whole name or full name. The company is in the business of manufacturing hydrophobic and hydrophilic non-woven fabrics. The IPO is a fresh issue IPO. It has got there is no offer for sale process or proceeds involved in this. So entire money will go towards expansion of business or whatever the object clause of this IPO is. In terms of the market share of this company globally, they control about 67% market share. The CAGR in terms of growth, global consumption, is about 9%, while this company, our company, has got a CAGR of about 12%. This is calculated for the last 3 years, that is financial year 22-23, 23-24 and 24-25. They have got one manufacturing facility in Rajkot, which is having 3 production lines. The use of proceeds of this company or this IPO will be used by the company for completing their working capital requirements for the main company, the one which is coming with IPO, as well as its subsidiary, that is SIPL. It will also be used for payments that is to be made for retiring debentures or other secured or unsecured loans. And last but not least, the general expenses that goes towards running of the company. Now we'll look at the financials of the company. We will look at it in various portions. As you can see, the first table is about the revenue, net profit and total assets of the company, which is also represented by a graph which comes on the right side of this table. If you look at it from the year 2022-23, 23-24 and 24-25, the revenue has been steadily increasing from 115.92 crores in 22-23 to 148.61 crores to 226.35 crores. At the same time, the net profit is also increased by about 10 times in the last 3 years. The first year being 1.13 crores, second 5.44 crores, followed by 10.79 crores. The total asset of the company is almost doubled, with 22-23 being 93.15 crores, 23-24 being 106.58 crores, and 24-25 being 182.76 crores. Now we will look at the distribution of the revenue of the company in India business as well as the outside of India or external business. Again, here those 3 years in question we will talk about in sequence. In India, the percentage revenue contributed was 96.44 from India, followed by 93.41, followed by 87.06. So this means that the company is expanding its footprint outside of India in other countries. So that is some good sign in terms of geographical expansion and reduction of risk in terms of the area of sales. As far as external consumption or revenue received from external entities are concerned, external means outside of India, it's 3.56 increased to 6.59, increased to 12.94. So this is a positive for the company as you look at it today. At the same time, for the subsidiary, that is SIPL, for the same set of 3 years, it is 87.06% in India, increased to 91.88, increased to 92.44. So here the India business is increased, while the external business is reduced from 12.94% to 8.12 to 7.56. Now we will look at the breakup of the financials in terms of what is the contribution of the supplier, the top 1, the top 5 and the top 10 suppliers. Again for the same same 3 years in percentage terms. It was 22.45%, followed by 38.34, and then again reduced to 22.20%, the top 1 supplier. So this is something which is of concern, because one supplier contributing more than 20% itself is a risk to the company in terms of concentration risk. Now if you take the top 5 suppliers, which includes the one which we saw earlier also, it is 88.14%, 79.80% in the second year, and 65.01% in the third year. Here the company is doing well in terms of reducing the concentration on the top 5 suppliers by reducing substantially from 88% to 65%. So this again is a good sign for the company. If you take the top 10 suppliers, which includes the earlier 5 that we spoke about, it was 95.36% in 22-23, followed by 89.67%, followed by 80%. Here also you can see that the concentration risk is reducing on the top 10 suppliers. Still it is a little bit on the higher side, which I am sure the company, going by the past history of the last 3 years, may be able to reduce in future. Now if you look at the subsidiary, that is SIPL, the top supplier was 54.56, increased to 56.76, and decreased largely to 39.90. This is good from supply risk point of view, concentration risk point of view. Now top 5 suppliers, which includes the earlier one, is 96.16%, reduced to 90.46, reduced further to 85.73%. In terms of top 5 suppliers, which includes the earlier 5, it is 98.33%, increased to 99.06%, decreased to 96.31%. This is a cause for concern, as majority of the business is controlled by the top 10 suppliers. Now if you look at the clients, that is the buyers for this contributing the revenue, for the main company, the top 1 client contributes 6.78%. It was reduced to 4.24 in 23-24, and now it's increased to 8.63%. The top 5 clients at the same time contributed to 18.04%, followed by 17.56%, followed by 26.08%. The top 10 clients for the same period was 27.31%, increased to 29.56%, and then further increased to 36.62%. All in all, this seems to be okay in terms of the concentration or risk concentration. If you look at the subsidiary, that is SIPL, the top client contributed to 17.60%, followed increased to 33.20, decreased to 24.28%. This is little bit on the higher side, that is more than 20. So there is a concentration risk here. The top 5 clients, if you take, it is 41.52%, increased to 69.13%, and marginally decreased to 65.15%. As far as the top 10 clients are concerned, it is 48.21%, increased to 80.06%, marginally decreased to 74.73%. So the top 10 clients contribute to more than almost 80%, more than 70%. So there is a concentration risk here in terms of the buyer clients for the company subsidiary. Now, if you to look at the last table on the financials, here we are going to talk about the cash flow in terms of activities. We split into three verticals: operating, investing, and financing. All the values here are in crores. You will see that the operating expenses is reduced considerably from 1710.9 crores to 994 crores to 294 crores. In the same period, the investing activity has taken a hit of 645.8 crores, reduced a little bit to 439.07 crores in terms of loss, and then again increased in 24-25 to 863.83 crores in terms of loss. In terms of financing, it is minus 1067 crores for 22-23. It is reduced by almost half to 547.78 crores in 23-24. But now you can see in 24-25 it's become positive at 602 crores. So in terms of financing, the company is doing a little bit better as it's gone into the black from the red that it was seen earlier. Of course, the company needs to concentrate more on reducing the investing losses and making it profitable, and operating activity should also be increased in terms of getting higher revenue. Now I'll talk about the various factors which include strengths and weaknesses of the company. As is true with many companies, there are several litigations against the company, its promoter group, the directors, as well as the KMPs. So doesn't seem to be anything alarming about the litigation, but of course it is there to that extent. There is a money that is locked up for litigations in terms of if the litigations do not fructify positively, then they may have to loosen the strings to the extent of the money that is required to be paid for completing or closing these litigations. Now, the biggest risk as we look at it is the limited number of suppliers that they have. So, the suppliers could create an issue in terms of managing the raw material prices. So, any increase in raw material prices would hit the top line of the company and hence the bottom line. So, this is something that needs to be looked at when you are invested into this company. As far as capacity utilization is concerned, the company is utilizing in the year 2024-25 a capacity of 73.24% as far as the main company is concerned, and 67.21% as far as the subsidiary SIPL is concerned. So there is scope for improvement in terms of company being able to take in at least 25 to 30% more business in the main company and about 30 to 35% in the subsidiary company without having to invest more in capital expenses. In terms of business, it is in the hygiene industry. So there are several laws which are onerous on the company as well as its clients. To that extent, the company is exposed to a lot of rules and regulations and laws concerning the hygiene industry. Now the company has taken a few IP rights. So it's an advantage as well as disadvantage, because currently these IP rights will hold the company in good stead. But as soon as the IP rights are completed or if they are not renewed, there could be competition from others with similar exposure. Now the usual risk factors, positive or negative, is in terms of government laws or rules and regulations imposed by the government. Since the factory is in Rajkot and concentrated in one state, the government applicable would be the state government of Gujarat in terms of manufacturing, and the country, that is the central government, in terms of manufacturing. In terms of sales, because they are having footprints across the country, laws changed by any of these state governments or the central government in the selling side can create issues for the company in terms of the profitability. Similarly, since they are in the hospital industry majorly, any policy change in terms of hygiene, in terms of packaging, etc., can create issues for the company. Regulatorily, they have to report to SEBI, the regulations of SEBI, MCA, that is Minister of Corporate Affairs, etc., which is something that needs to be done by all the companies. But regulations needs to be looked at. Before the company came out with an IPO, there were a few regulatory breaches, which hopefully the company will be able to manage with a better team, bigger team, and also the procedures of IPO being able to be used properly. Taxes affect the company in terms of the top line due to the increase or decrease in taxes. The tariffs of various states or countries, wherever they are having their footprint in, could create issues in the selling, in introducing selling pressure on the price, selling price. Insurance, the companies mentioned that they have taken insurance, but at times it could be inadequate. Inadequate insurance in an hygiene industry, hygiene made industries, where there could be a lot of lawsuits and others being filed against the company for inferior quality uh, of the products, or for any other reason, could put pressure on the finance of the company in case the insurance turns out to be inadequate. Should you find this video informative and educative, kindly pass it on to your friends and relatives who can go through this and then decide on whether this IPO is good, or it is not worth investing in. Please press the like button and subscribe to this channel. I would like to thank you for listening to me patiently in the course of this episode. Should you have any doubts, queries, or suggestions, please contact me at ramkbharosay at gmail.com. Thanks once again.